This is the new Giant Revolt X Advanced Pro. Check this out. It's got a suspension fork at the front with 40 millimeters of travel, and it's got a dropper post over here. Now, before I get into the specifics of this new gravel bike, I have something to tell you, especially my fellow Canadians. You can't get this bike. Giant is bringing its new Revolt X line to Canada, but it is not bringing this model, the Advanced Pro Zero. It's bringing the Advanced Pro 1, the Advanced Pro 2, and the aluminum Revolt X1. But the carbon fiber models all have a lot of similarities, and I will stick to those details. Also, I should mention that this Revolt X, like the regular Revolt I tested in 2021, is going to Michael Vandenham. But I got it first, yet again. I love that. I think that's so hilarious. I've chirped him already to let him know that I'm taking good care of his bike. So before I have to give it back to him, let's take a look at some of the details on this gravel bike that cyclocrosser and gravel racer Michael Vandenham will be using in the coming months. All Revolt X models come with a suspension fork with 40 millimeters of travel. On this bike, there's a Fox 32 Performance Elite. It has 3 settings, open, medium, and firm. I find that even in the firm setting, there's still a bit more squish than I would like when I'm, say, riding on a flat road or a gravel road with just, pebbles to get in my way. The models that are coming to Canada, the Advanced Pro 1 and Advanced Pro 2, are spec'd with a RockShox Rudy Ultimate Explorer. Now this also has 40 millimeters of travel, and its lockout setting, which I'm a bit familiar with, I feel would firm up the front end a bit better than this Fox fork here. Now over at the back of the frame, there's the postmodern dropper post. On this size medium frame, it'll give you 100 millimeters of drop. It has a thumb activated lever on the bars. Now that lever does take a bit of muscle to activate, and the post really does have a strong return into the full extended position. Now check out the tires. They are 50C Maxxis Rambler. Now if you ask me, this bike wears 50C treads quite well. On the road, I find that it handles them very well. It keeps its agility even with such a massive amount of rubber. The maximum clearance that the frame has is 53 millimeters. To get that clearance, you have to adjust a flip chip at the back. Right now it's in the long setting. If you flip it, then you can bring the axle inbound a bit more towards the bottom bracket. You do lose some tire clearance. The max clearance in short setting is 45 millimeters. So it's the trade-off you get. For wider rubber, you go long. For a bit more agility, you go short. But also another consideration when you're choosing tires for this bike is also the suspension fork. You need to take into account what kind of clearance it has, which is around 50, depends on the tire and how it attaches to these new wheels, which are the Giant CXR X1. Now this Revolt X, remember, it's the Advanced Pro Zero, it tips my scale at 9.94 kilograms. I expect the models that are coming to Canada to be fairly similar in weight. The components might be a smidge heavier, but these bikes ship with narrower tires around the 45C range. Right here, I'm on the route of the Paris to Ancaster gravel race. This is a classic Ontario gravel race, and this year, in fact, it's going to also double as our national gravel championship race. Now, would I race this bike at P to A? Probably not, partly because I remember when the bike of choice for P to A was a cyclocross bike with 33C tires, but the level of squish on this bike, the front suspension, I think for the most part isn't necessary for this Southern Ontario Classic, except for right over there. That's the Powerline mudslide, and to to be honest, even last year, I could have used this bike just on that section. Where I'm really keen to ride this bike is actually 100 kilometers north of here. I know a route that mixes not only road, paved and gravel, but also trails and single track. This bike would be super fun there, connecting all those different surfaces. I think I'm gonna wait though until it warms up a bit. Like, Giant, come on, you're releasing this bike in February. I get it. You want to make sure we can all have it for spring. You know, I'm probably gonna keep this bike until April when I can ride in, you know, plus temperatures. If that's okay with Michael Vandenham, I should probably check with him.